Hello everyone, my name is Ebrahim Nakhwa, and in this video I'm gonna be walking you through a day in Indonesia as a foreigner, or as the Indonesians call it, bule. So first up, let's start off with the navigating daily life part, because there's a lot of culture shock for a lot of people that come here in Indonesia. Um, the first up being the concept of jam karet, which generally means like a rubber time, where time here is generally extremely flexible, where social events or informal meetups may start later than planned, up as personal connections and a relaxed pace often take priority over rigid schedules. So it might come off as a bit of a shock when, for me at least, when I first came here in Indonesia and I was extremely late for a hangout, but my friends were completely normal, as if it's common for people to be late um, on time. Also, another thing you would notice is that Indonesian meetups or hangouts generally last a lot longer than probably any other country I've ever seen, because sometimes meetups are generally like maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Other times it could be up to 4 to 5 hours, maybe even longer, depending on where you are. But Indonesian hangouts, meetups, or whatever you may call it, are probably the most relaxed hangouts I've ever had, because there's no schedule that you follow. There's no plan that you already have in mind. You just go meet your friends, meet your loved ones, and just have a good time in general. Which leads me to my second point, the ngopi culture, or the coffee culture here in Indonesia. Most of the times that people do love to hang out is in coffee shops. So this came out as a bit of a shock to me as well, because coffee shops to me were generally just small meeting places where you would go for like 30 minutes to drink your coffee and move out. But here in Indonesia, it has its deep-rooted traditions with a thriving modern scene. It is basically a vital social ritual for community building, exchanging ideas, and inviting with various variations ranging from rustic roadside stalls to bustling contemporary cafes. So you would oftentimes notice people working on their assignments or the job they're doing while in a cafe, while drinking coffee, and just stay there for hours on end, along with their friends or colleagues. Sorry, uh, it's a really nice culture in general, as well as oftentimes you would meet new people in cafe shops or in warung, as they call it, warung coffee. Where you would go, it's a roadside stall. You just get your coffee. You might see some older, elderly there as well, which are generally extremely friendly, Um, which is another thing about Indonesians, is that the friendly curiosity of the locals are something that I wasn't used to when I came here in Indonesia. So the locals here are generally a lot more sociable than you would expect. Because at first, when I came here, they would constantly, whenever I go outside, the security guards would ask me like "Mau kemana," where it means "Where are you going?" At first, I was a bit taken aback because I thought you know, it was something that wasn't generally asked as a form of greeting. But as it turns out, it's just a standard friendly greeting here in Indonesia. It's just their way of, asking how you are, what you're doing, They're just checking in on you. So I actually ended up, liking it a lot, because you would just go out, you might see your friends on the way, they'll just be like, "Oh, come on, where are you going? Are you okay?" It's another thing that I learned from, Grab drivers and Gojek drivers, which are extremely important here in Indonesia, as they're fast, they're efficient. You can go from one place to another pretty quickly, and they also deliver food to you. Talking with them, I think I've learned a lot more Indonesian language as well, because they would also constantly ask the same questions, just different variations and stuff. They would constantly ask how you are, where I'm from, and just stuff like that. They weren't, I don't think I've ever had a rude driver in the 3 years I've lived here. All of them have been extremely friendly and very social, I'd say. That leads me to the warmth of the Indonesian people. There are some things that you do need to keep in mind, such as the respect and the hierarchy. Addressing elders, staffs, and teachers properly is fundamental in the Indonesian culture. Using pa for Mr. or mu for Mrs. on campus shows deep cultural respect, or sopan santun, and will constantly win you warm smiles from the locals, which I had no idea before. I generally call them, sir or ma'am. But as it turns out, the Indonesian words for those are pa and bu. And that's how you would address your lecturers or elderly. Another thing to keep in mind is the gotong royong, where there is a powerful sense of community support and mutual assistance. Whether you are lost in a new neighborhood or struggling with a heavy bag, locals will most or almost always jump in to help without hesitation. I've experienced this quite a lot, honestly. Like there was one time my friend's bike and I were broken down and we had to repair it. And luckily there were enough locals around where they helped us, repair our bike on the way, where they didn't have to do anything. We barely even looked around for help, but they were kind enough to, help out people in need. And I really enjoy that about the Indonesian culture. Let's talk about the cuisine. Uh, Starting off with the nasi goreng, it's the most Indonesia's most iconic fried rice. It is deeply savory, slightly sweet from kecap manis, and traditionally topped with a fried egg and crunchy crackers, as Indonesians call it, kerupuk, I believe. Um, it's an all-around one of my favorite dishes here in Indonesia, and also the most famous amongst other foreigners as well. Next up, we have a slightly heavier dish called the beef rendang. It is a globally celebrated slow-cooked beef dish from Sumatra, heavily infused with rich coconut milk and a complex paste of traditional spices. I think this is mostly enjoyed on events, but you would see in day-to-day life as well. It takes a lot of effort to cook it, but it's also extremely delicious. And the last up, we have a salad called gado gado. It is a fresh, vibrant salad consisting of boiled vegetables, tofu, tempeh, which I believe is soya beans, and eggs, all smothered in mildly spicy peanut sauce. It's one of the more interesting salads that I've seen, but it's extremely delicious. So that was it as a day in a foreigner's life here in Indonesia. I think those are the more important points that you should keep in mind when you come here in Indonesia. So that's it for me today. Thank you very much for watching my video.